Hello? This is part 2 of my Legend of Zelda series, so if you haven't seen the first episode, then watch that. We'll be covering animations in this video, and by the end of the video, we should have our player able to walk and push in 4 directions. I'm gonna put this sprite sheet in the description. It's basically walk down, walk up, walk right, and walk left, and then the same for pushing. We're gonna expand on this sprite sheet down the line, so this is just the basis. Now put it in the folder, delete the old one, and call this player.png. Up in here, we'll go to our player scene, and we have to re-import the texture so that it's not so blurry. So we're going to go to Presets, 2D Pixel, re-import, and we're also going to set that as the default for texture, and we shouldn't have to do that anymore. So go down to your sprite node and animation, set the V frames to 2 and the H frames to 8, and we'll go to our collision and set the extents to 6 and 7 so it fits the player a little better. Now we'll make our animation player. So stick that up here, rename it anim. We're gonna be referencing it a lot in the script later, so we'll want it to be short. Create a new animation called idle down. Basically, the way all of our animations are going to be organized are there's going to be an action first, idle, walk, and push, and then a direction after, so down, up, left, right. We're going to set the length to 1, the steps to 5, and turn on repeat. So go to your sprite and go to the frame, set the frame to 1, and add a new key. Yep. So there's our idle down animation. Now we're just going to do a lot of duplicating. Idle up, set the frame to 3. Idle right, set the key to 5. And idle left will be 7. Hold on. Okay, so now that we have all of our idle animations, we're just going to create walk down, go down to frame 0, and add 2 keys. 1, 2. If we play that, we'll see our player walking a little slowly. Just gonna do that the same for walk up, set the frame to 2 and 3. Walk right, 4 and 5, and walk left, 6 and 7. Same for pushing, push down, 8, 9, push up, 10, 11, push right, 12, 13, and push left, 14, 15. So there are all of our animations, moving a little slowly, so I'm going to go to our animation node, go to playback options, set the speed of 4, and that's around what it is in the Zelda games. I'm not sure, it's something like that. So we have all of our animations. Now we can go in and start, actually making it work. So let's go to our player script, and we have to make the sprite direction. So make a new variable called sprite dir and set it to down. Basically, our move dir is where we want the player to go, and that could be any 8 directions, and that's a vector 2. Our sprite dir is going to be, in plain English, a string on which direction we're facing. We're going to start with the player facing down. So we're going to make a new loop called Sprite loop, and we're going to use a match statement. If you don't know what match statements are, they're basically the GDScript equivalent of switch statements. It's just taking like one expression and doing something else for each outcome you set, and just looks cleaner than a bunch of if statements. So match movedir vector2 -1, 0, oops, vector2, and set the sprite to left. So this is the equivalent of saying if vector2, or no, if movedir is equal to vector2 -1, 0, then set the sprite to left. But we could do the same for right, up, and down. And that's that. This just looks a little cleaner than a ton of if statements. Now we're going to put in our sprite loop, and we're also going to print our sprite so we can see if this works. So we're in the game. If you look down, if we're walking right, it says right. If we're walking up, it says up. If we walk diagonally, it'll be whatever we are pressing last. So, okay, now we're going to make our animation switcher. Let's take out that print. So new function anim switch, and the parameter is animation. So, okay, basically what we're going to do, we're going to have a variable called new anim, and it's going to be a string of animation and sprite. So when we switch animations, when we call this function, we're going to take whatever we told it to do. So if we send this with walk, it's going to make a new string called walk, and then whatever direction we're facing here. So walk up, for example, that's one of our animations, and basically we're just going to make it play that animation right now. So if $anim, that basically is just get node and the anim node. If our anim node's current animation is not the new anim, then just play the new anim. Oops. Okay, cool. So now if we send anim switch walk, it'll pick one of our walk animations depending on which sprite direction we're facing. So now we're just going to stick that into our physics process. Cool. If movedir is not vector2, 0, 0, so if we're not standing still right now, we're going to walk. Else, if we are standing still, we're going to switch to idle. Now we'll hit run and try moving around, and there's our animations. Cool. Can walk in all 8 directions, and it'll switch depending on which direction we're walking before walking diagonally, whatever. If we walk along the wall, we don't push yet. We'll get to that right now. So I'll admit it's not messy, it's just a little long. If anyone has any suggestions to not basically have to write the same thing 4 times, let me know, but this works, and I'll explain why I did it like this in a second. So if is on wall, if we're pressing up against the wall, it's going to do all this. If our sprite direction is left, and test move transform vector2 -1, 0. So what test move does is it starts from one position and goes to another position. Our transform is basically where the player is right now, and then we're testing to the left of us. So 1x coordinate to the left. If there's a collision there, it'll return true. So if we're facing left and there's a collision to our left, then we're going to switch to anim switch push. Now we got to do the same thing for all the other directions. But make it the same animation. Okay, so now if we go in, oh, forgot to do something. We have to switch this to an else if statement, elif. So first we'll check if we're on the walls. If not, we'll check if we're at least moving, and if not, we'll just be idle. So now if we go in and push up against the walls, it works. The reason we had to do it 4 times instead of just like testing our current move direction is otherwise if we walked along the side of the wall like this, it would still be pushing to the right here. We want it to only push if we're facing the direction and pressing up towards it. But yep, that's about it. I hope everything made sense. If not, leave a comment and I'll answer it as soon as possible. I'm not sure what the next video will be on. It might take a couple days for me to do it, whatever, we'll see. But leave any suggestions below, and yeah, thanks for watching.